Welcome back, aliens. My name is Navin Reddy, and let's continue with the series on Python. And in this video, we will write a code to search an element from a list. So let's say if you have a list here and we have values, let's say 5, 8, 4, 6, 9, 2, and if you want to search for a particular value, and let's say you are searching for 9. Now, how do we do that? So we do have certain functions in Python using which you can do that, but what if you want to do it by yourself? You want to do it manually using a loop. The general idea is if you want to search for an element, there are two scenarios here. The first scenario is the element which you're searching for is there in the list. The second scenario is the element which you're searching for is not there in the list. Let's go with the best scenario here. You're searching for 9 and 9 is there in the list, right? Now how do we check? So we have to run a loop and you will check for each element. So let's say if you're searching for 9, you will compare 9 with the first element of the list, which is 5 in this case. Since it is not matching, you will go for the next element. We'll compare that. If this is not matching, you will go for the next element. That's what you do. And you will do this till you find the element, right? Which is 9 itself, which is the fifth element in the array with an index value 4, of course, or the least. So let's do it. So the element which you're searching for is 9, right? So you want to search 9 from this list. In fact, let me just, instead of having the name as array, let me just say list. So we have a list and then we are searching for 9, right? Now you can use function here. You can say if search. So let's say search is a function which we are implementing. And in this search, you will pass two things. So you will pass a list and you will also pass a value which you're searching for. If the value exists, you will simply print found, else you will print not found. So basically, if you are getting the value, you will print found or you will say not found, right? Now, what is this search function? Is it inbuilt function? Of course not. You can see we are getting error there. So we have to define this function by ourselves. And how do we define a function? It's very easy. You simply say def and the function name is search. And in this search, you have to pass two values. You will pass a list and you will also pass the n value, which is n. You can change the variable name as we know. We can have any variable name. Now, once you say you have this search function, what you will be doing here? Now, first of all, we have to use a loop, right? We have to iterate from the first element to the last element. Now, we can use a while loop here. We can use a for loop here. We have multiple options, right? Let's start with while. Now, in a while loop, you also need a counter, right? You can count the number of elements. And the way you can use a counter by saying I. Normally, we can use any variable name, but I makes sense when you have a counter for the loop, right? So we are saying I is equal to 0. And the next thing we need is, let's use a loop here. So we will say while. And we have to go till where? So you have to go to the last value. So how do you know the last value? So you will simply say length of list. Now if you can observe, I'm using less, okay? I'm not using less than equal to. The reason is, this is a list, right? Index value will start with 0. So let's skip it, length of list. And then you will simply check for each value. So you're going from the first element to the last element, right? You're using a loop here. So you will check if the value in the list, you will use a counter I, is equal to n. Okay, so the moment you find the value, you will stop it, right? So if it is equal to n, you can use, how do we say that we have found it? So we can simply return true. So we can simply return true the moment you find it, and that's it. At the end, you will return false. So what we're trying to do here is the moment you find the value, you will simply return true, otherwise you will return false. That's it. That's the code we have written here. Now, will it work? So what exactly we are doing is we are comparing with each value. If this is matching with the list or the value which you're searching for is in the list, it will simply return true. Otherwise, after the loop ends, it will return false, right? That's what we are doing. Let's verify if this is working. Let's right click and say run demo. And we have not got any output, but why? Is it because I'm using semicolon? Let's move that. Let's print something here. Let's print. It is not even going inside the list. You know why? Because we are not incrementing the while loop. We missed that. We have to say I is equal to I plus 1, right? So we are not changing for the value for the I. Just keep comparing with 5. We do not do that. So let's increment. So we have done that. Let's run this code. And you can see it says found and found here. So let's remove this found here from here. And now let's verify again. Is it working? So yes, you can see it says found. So the value is there, right? The value is there in the list. What if I give a new value? What if I'm searching for 10? And you can see we don't have 10 in the list. And the moment you run this code, you can see it says not found. So we got the code. So what we are doing is we are comparing the value with each value. The moment you find the value, you will simply return true. Otherwise, at the end, if it is not returning, it will simply return false, right? This is where it's happening. But we still have one problem here. You can see I'm simply printing that we have found the value, but we are not saying where it is, right? We have to also maintain the position. And we are not doing that. So what I will do here is I will say, let me take a variable which is pause. And by default, the value for pause will be -1 because normal index will start with 0. When I say -1, that means we have not got the value. So we can actually debug it. But time let's keep it -1. And here, the moment you find the value, let me also reserve that position of I. Okay, so whatever value of I is, I will save that in pause. But there's one issue. Now, if you have seen my video on global variable and local variables, this POS is a global variable, right? And this POS here inside the function becomes a local variable. And whenever you change a local variable, it will not impact the global variable, right? Because I want to use that position outside the function. So I want to use it here. So I will say found at, and I want to print the position as well. The problem is when I change the pause value here, it is changing the local variable, not the global variable. In order to access the global variable, if you remember, we simply use a globals as a function, and then we can give this POS as the, because we can have multiple global variables, right? We have to mention which global variable I'm talking about. So that is POS in this case. Now it seems good. I will simply run this code and you can see it says, oh, it says not found because we are searching for 10. Let's go back to 9 and let's run this code. And you can see it says found at 4. So the next value for 9 is 4. So you can see it is 0. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 9 is the fourth, right? Normally, as humans, we start the value from 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we can also do pause plus 1 because actually in human way, 9 is at position 5, right? So let's do a plus 1 there. And you can see it says found at 5. So that's how you do a linear search. It's so easy, right? Now, when I say linear search, that means we also have other techniques, right? One of the best way to search this one is binary search. In fact, we also have binary search. Binary search is faster than linear search in some ways, but then it has something which you have to mention. So in the next video, we'll talk about that. But in this video, we have to do some more changes. Now, don't you think for loop is better than while loop? Why to use while loop here? We can use a for loop as well, right? In fact, that will be your assignment. So what I want you to do is convert this code into for loop. There will be only 1 or 2 changes. You have to do this change because instead of using a while loop, you have to use a for loop. And in for loop, we don't do increment. So this is only change you have. So do that and you can comment your answers in the comment section, or you can also share the Dropbox link if it is working, or GitHub link. So that's it, everyone. That's how you do linear search because we are searching for each and every element from start. In the next video, we'll talk about a binary search. So that's it from this video, everyone. Bye-bye.